Hey everybody, what's up? Carl Schoof here from Snorkel.tv, and I want to welcome you to the first episode of Motion Study, alright? If you're watching the live YouTube premiere with me, you're awesome. Thank you so much. It means so much to have you here with me. With Motion Study, what I want to do is take small real-world motion graphics examples and just get into the timing and easing and some of the techniques used to build them, alright? And it's going to be your job to incorporate these and elevate them in your own projects, alright? So this is not really a step-by-step training series or anything like that. It's more for inspiration, alright? If you're staring at a blank screen or some static text and you want to know how to bring it to life, you know what? Maybe you'll get some ideas here. Now, what's really cool about this first episode is that the technique that I'm going to be exploring, I'm actually going to show you how I incorporate it into this boring logo that I have up here, alright? Where it says Motion Study. So at the end of the video, I'm going to reveal to you my new Motion Study logo animation, alright? So let's get into today's technique and let's see what happens. So here's the ad I want to explore today. Again, you scroll through these things 100 times and pay no attention. But the thing is, if we dive into the details, you'll see there's a lot of cool nuances going on here. First thing that caught my attention is that there's constant motion, alright? The designer could have just done a simple cross-fade from the first screen to the second, but there's actually a very precise choreography going on of over a dozen elements. So what I want to do is jump into ScreenFlow, we'll slow it down, talk about some of the subtle nuances, and I'll show you how what I'm calling the staggered reveal and grow effect inspired my new Motion Study logo. Let's take a deeper look. Alright, so now what I want to do is I'm just going to scrub through a few times really slow so that we can see exactly what's happening, alright? And on this first screen here, we're starting with the word Buffett, and then there's going to be this sort of staggered introduction of the what's next for text. And while that's happening, everything here in the center is slowly growing. There's a gradient down here that's getting brighter, and we have these two bars on the side, all right? So as I advance forward, you'll see those things growing, the bars coming in, and the gradient getting a little bit brighter as these elements are fading out. As I get to the next build, you'll see that his face is very big and faded out. The bars are still moving, he's shrinking, brightening up. The gradient in the background is actually doing something new. And then we have this first piece of text slide in, and we have sort of a staggered approach of all three. And even when we resolve the final build, keep an eye on the bars here, and you'll see that they're still moving very slowly. And then we have a loop here, okay? So I had counted previously through all this, and again, there's like a dozen things because we have those, where are we? Those two bars, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of text. And then we have a group of things that's growing as that text fades out. And again, he comes in. So we have Warren Buffett, 3 more pieces of text, and another gradient. So even something as simple as the gradient, if we really want to get picky, let's go forward. Keep an eye on the bottom here. Again, it's so subtle, but it's what makes the difference. Just watch the gradient sort of brighten up, and you can see the radius of it kind of change if you really pay attention. And then when we get to the next screen, you'll see right in here, watch, it fades out and then it regrows right above his shoulder there, sort of in the center more, all right? And again, it's so super subtle, but it's what really draws our attention in. So I just wanted you to get an appreciation for all that's going on in what's really a 3-second animation. And what I want to focus on today is just the first thing that we see. All right, I want to go back to, where is it? Here we are, this first build where Buffett is on the screen, and then we're going to stagger in the text, and we have this constant growth. All right, so it's always coming at us, and then as it's growing, it fades out. Okay, so it's just this little bit. It's like literally 2 seconds worth of animation from where Buffett first arrives. The tagline staggers in and everything grows and fades out. So now let's isolate what I'm calling the staggered reveal, grow, and fade effect, all right? How easy would it have been for this text just to all fade on at once and fade off? But the designer took the extra step of choreographing this sort of constant motion effect that really draws us in. When I went to recreate this effect, I really wanted to know how much scaling was actually happening. So I screen grabbed the first frame and the end frame where it's just about faded out, and I did a little measurement, and I noticed that there's only a 10% growth over the course of 2 seconds, all right? So that's 1.1x as far as the scale goes. So again, it's really, really super subtle, but it's what makes it work. It's not like this big dramatic, crazy zoom effect. It's nice, subtle, constant, and relaxing. And right when that scaling text lulls you in, you have Warren Buffett start real big and then speed out. And I could go on a whole nother tangent about the speed and easing of those bars, again, how the gradient shifts subtly and all this different stuff. But I really just wanted to focus this episode on this one effect and then show you how it inspired my motion study logo, all right? Before we get into that, let me just break things down as far as the timing goes. So here's an abstract timeline of the animation, all right? This blue bar right here is going to represent everything scaling up for the 2 seconds of the animation. These little orange boxes here show us the text staggering in for the tagline, all right? Each word only takes 1/10 of a second to show up. And once they show up, everything grows. And then for the last 1/10 of a second of animation, all the items are fading out as one, okay? So I thought this would be a cool lesson for my students. So I went into Illustrator, made a rough abstract drawing of, all the different elements that would be animated, and I proceeded to code it with GreenSock code. And I got to a point where I said, you know what? I could explain this line by line to people, spoon feed them an answer, give them a demo that they could just look at and then quickly walk away from. But I want this motion study series to be different, all right? I want to inspire you to pick up your code editor or After Effects or Animate and try to build this stuff for yourself, okay? So what I'm going to do is just scrub back to right about there. I'm going to hit O to add my out marker. And let me just put this on loop, and you'll see that this is the exact effect that I was talking about, all right? So what I want to do is challenge you. You know what? Why don't you try to rebuild something like this from scratch, or the next time you have a project, instead of just fading 3 things on at once and calling it a day, do a nice little stagger, have them grow and then fade out, all right? You can add just this little extra nuance and take your projects to the next level. Alright folks, here it is. I'm now ready to show you the big reveal of how I've used this effect in my new motion study animated logo. Let's go! Alright folks, here we are. All I have to do is click and you're gonna see it. So let's go. Ah, bling! Nice. I am so happy with this and I hope you enjoy it too. Alright, I just love the way it scales up and grows. We got our fun little trick over here. I love the little timing that's going on there. And I had so much fun building this and I hope you enjoy it and you look forward to seeing it in future episodes of Motion Study. So eventually what I'll do is do something where it comes on and I say, welcome to Motion Study, where we do blah, 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 blah. All right, so I'll have to work that out. But let me just show you real quick what would happen if we didn't do the scale and reveal that I've been talking about in this episode. Let's run. Oh my goodness, could that be any more boring? Look how different it is. It's just sort of there and stale. All right. And you know what? I spent so much time working on the timing of the little ball and the little trick that I didn't really pay too much attention to, other stuff. And then I was like, you know what? I saw that Yahoo ad and I was like, I got to incorporate something like that. It's got to be better. So what are we going to do? We're going to put scale and true back on. And there we go. Look at how it draws you in. I don't know. I hope you like it. All right. So look how we just added that one little effect and took it to the next level. Alrighty folks, hope you enjoyed this episode of Motion Study. Now it's your turn to use this effect in one of your own projects. This is not a contest. The only reward is the satisfaction you're going to get from using this effect in something that you build, alright, and taking it to the next level. If you do use this effect in one of your projects or demos, post on Twitter. Use the hashtag MotionStudy and tag @SnorkelTV, alright? I'd love to check it out and share it with my friends and tell you how awesome you are, alright? So stay tuned for the next episode.